Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to review the new Chiaogoo Forte needle tips, which I finally had a chance of trying for the last few weeks. So today I'm going to tell you my view on these needles. Are they worth the money, and how do they compare to another pair of carbon fibre tips I have from Nipro, and how do they compare to Chiaogoo's twist lace needle tips, which are probably my favourite needles for most projects. So I hope you enjoy today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So let's have a chat about these needle tips. So Chiaogoo has been my preferred needles, I think, since I first came across them quite a few years ago now. And I bought the fixed circular needles first. I bought them in loads of different sizes because at the time Chiaogoo didn't do any interchangeable needle tips or needle sets. So I bought all the sizes I needed, and then when they came out with the interchangeable set, I bought that as well. So when they launched the Forte tips just over a year ago, I think it might have been before Christmas 2023, I was very interested, but they only came in a big set with loads of sizes and some extras, and they were quite expensive. So I've just looked on one UK website, and apparently the Chiaogoo Forte 2.0 interchangeable 5-inch needle tip set, so it's an interchangeable set that comes with loads of needle tips in various sizes, interchangeable cables, and some other accessories. I think it comes with stitch markers, various things, extras, needle gauge. I'm just looking at my laptop, which is not good when I'm talking to you. But it retails at one UK online yarn shop, retails for £365. I don't think it was that expensive when it first came out, but I saw that come out. It must have been autumn 2023, I think. And I was very interested, but I thought, I'm not paying that much money. I use a very limited range of needle sizes for most of my knitting, so I don't need all the sizes. It comes in a really nice looking case. I don't need a fancy case because I have my own storage that stores all my needles, so I didn't feel like I needed it, so I resisted, even though I was very tempted. I also don't have a wholesale account with Chiaogoo. If I had, maybe I would have bought it, but I don't, so I resisted. And I spoke to a Chiaogoo retailer and said, are these coming out in individual needle tips? And she said yes, so I thought, well, I'll wait. When I was in Norway in end of February, beginning of March, I spent a day yarn shopping in Oslo, and one of the yarn shops I went to, where I didn't buy anything from because it was quite busy, and I ended up not buying anything. I didn't see anything I desperately wanted, but I didn't end up buying anything. And when I came home, like the next day, I think it was, I saw on social media that they had the Forte interchangeable needle tips available as just a pack of needle tips individually. And I was like, oh, why did I not look for that when I was in the shop? But I didn't look at their needles at all, to be quite honest. And I really regretted not picking them up. I did look into ordering them from them while I was in Norway, but the shipping number of days they said it might take to ship, it might not have gotten to my parents before I went back to the UK. I don't know whether this is normal in all of Norway, but where my parents live, if it comes by regular post, then they only have deliveries of post, I think 3 times a week, every other day. So they don't get a lot of postal deliveries. So I guess it depends on exactly which days the post come on, which my parents don't seem to know. I'm assuming it's the same days every week, but I don't know. So I resisted ordering them. I did look in a couple of the yarn shops I went to locally to where my parents live, and they didn't stock them. So I thought, well, I'll just wait. So when I came home, I looked up one of my favorite Chiaogoo retailers, which is most of my Chiaogoo needles I probably bought from Pearlessence here in the UK, and they didn't have them in stock. So I waited till they came in stock, and as soon as they were in stock, I ordered a set. And I've actually been using them for my current project, which is a cable project in DK yarn. So I've been using them for these. So these ones that I've got are 4mm, I want to say. That's needle size on the actual metal tip. So yeah, they're 4mm, which is what I've been using for my current project. So let me tell you a little bit about the Chiaogoo Forte needle tips, and then I will compare them to my other carbon fibre needle tips from Nipro, which I've had for years, and also tell you what I think about these, whether I'll be buying any more of them or not. So this is what it says on the Chiaogoo website, and I will be reading this. Let's make sure I get it right. Securely assembled with press fit technology, and the joints are precision ground for smooth connections and accuracy. It would help if I could read my handwriting. Advanced nano coating technology ensures a slick yarn feed. So the yarn does slide very nicely along your needles, but because they're not metal, they are carbon fibre, they aren't as slick as metal needles. So the yarn feeds along here quite nicely from needle tip to needle tip, but it's less likely to fall off. I do drop a surprising amount of stitches as I knit, because I knit with my hands really close to the needle tip, and the stitch is really close to the needle tip because it enables me to knit faster. So I do quite often drop stitches, or they just fall off the end of my needle because I knit so fast. I quite often knit without looking because I'm talking to somebody, or watching telly, or watching something on my phone or whatever. So knitting with the stitches close to the needle tips, knitting fast and not looking all the time, does mean that sometimes stitches fly off my needle tip. And I feel like they've done that less with these. I have been using this in a project where I've been knitting cables, and I've been knitting cables without a cable needle. I'm going to do a tutorial on this. I don't think I've done a cable tutorial before. Maybe I had many years ago, but I don't think so. So I'm going to do that in the next couple of months, I think. And I have been using these to knit cables without a cable needle, and I really like them. To knit cables without a cable needle, you need really pointy tips, and these are really good. These feel warm to the touch, and they're very, very smooth. The tips, needle tips, are stainless steel, and the black bit is carbon fibre. So the joint from the stainless steel to the metal, you can feel that the texture changes slightly. So if I smooth my finger over the needle tip and then go on to the carbon fibre, it does drag a little bit more. So it's slicker here, and then it kind of slows down a bit as I come to here. And the same thing here, it's got a very, very smooth join here. I cannot feel, well, I guess I can just, no, I can't really feel these joints at all if I'm not looking at them. No, I can't feel the joints at all. These, I can definitely feel the join from the metal bit to the carbon fibre, and the same thing here. And occasionally, and you can even see it, there's a slight, definitely feel it when I run my nail across there, but even when I run my fingers across it, you can feel that join on both ends. And I have sometimes felt like my yarn is catching slightly, especially if I'm knitting in thinner yarn. I don't use these a lot because they're mainly for workshops, but occasionally I have used them, and I can feel the yarn sometimes catch on this join. So I've just looked up the price on the Nipro carbons for 4.5mm interchangeable needle tips. These cost $12.79. Now for the Chiaogoo Forte needle tips, I looked up 4mm. They were no, 3.75, because the website I was looking at didn't have 4mm. So 3.75 are £14.15. The Chiaogoo twist lace needle tips, which are the metal ones that I normally use, £11.20. So in the needle size I chose, these are £3 more than the twist lace, the regular metal needle tips that Chiaogoo do. These are just about 135 less than these. These are more expensive than the twist lace Chiaogoo needle tips. Spend that kind of money, I would pay the extra and get the Chiaogoo Forte carbon needle tips. They are much smoother, the joints are much smoother, and they are pointier than these. Are the same size. They are pointier, maybe a little bit. No, probably the same pointiness, but the sloping bit here is longer. So on these it starts here. Hang on, let me see if I can put my nail there. On the Nipro, they start there. So Nipro, they start here. So the length of the sloping bit on the needle tip is longer on the Chiaogoo Forte than they're on the Nipro Carbons. So I actually thought these would be quite a bit cheaper than the Chiaogoo, and they're not. So for that difference in price, I've just looked at one retailer. They may vary from retailer to retailer, but looking at that price, I would definitely go for the Forte, because I think $135 for a set of interchangeable needles is not a lot. I appreciate that Nipro might be sold in more yarn shops, at least here in the UK. And also when I've been in Norway, they seem to do Nipro in most yarn shops. I don't very often see the Nipro Carbons in yarn shops though. I don't think I've seen them in any yarn shops actually. They usually do the Zing Nipro needles. They seem to be the most popular Nipro needles. I also haven't seen these Chiaogoo Forte in a yarn shop yet, apart from that one in Norway where I didn't buy it. Now I'm going to Norway again in May, so this may not be out before I go. I don't know when this video is going to be out. I may be in Norway when you see this. I might be back from Norway when you see this. So I don't know, but I'm going to buy more needle tips in Norway. I might too if I see them and I don't see any yarn I want. I might pick up another couple of needle tips in the sizes I like. So I've been using these with my Chiaogoo swivel cable. So they're called Forte Swiv 360 cables. They're the ones I've been using for these. I left those in my project. I'm still working on this cable project. I've got to finish it this week, and I didn't want to change the stitches onto a different needle, so I just screwed these off and put my knitting back in the bag. I didn't take the cable off, but I've been using these with the Swiv 360 cables, which are grey, so they look really nice with these. I screwed these on one of my red lace cables that I've got from Chiaogoo. So my original set from Chiaogoo, the twist lace needle tips, came with red cables, and I quite like knitting with the red cables. Red is not my favourite colour at all. I love pink and purple. I do not particularly like red, but I really like those red cables because they're quite bright, so whatever colour you're knitting with, they show up quite nicely. The grey ones, if you're knitting with a darker yarn or a grey yarn, they blend a bit more with your stitches. But I did not like the red lace with these. It just looked wrong. So I may have to get some more of the Swivel 360 cables to use with these, especially if I get some more of the Forte, because I don't know if I want to use the red ones with them. I'm going to do a video soon, which will be out after this, on my favourite needles and why. I'm going to rank all the needles I've tried in the order of how much I like them. If you're not sure what needles to get, I have several reviews on my channel, and I will do a video coming up after this talking about which ones are my favourite needles and why. And I will rank like my favourite metal needles, my favourite carbon needles, now that I got more than one type, and my favourite wooden needles, things like that. I will rank them in order, and also what I think is the best value for money in terms of needles. I will do that soon. It's quite a big video to prepare for and film, so hopefully I'll be able to film it before I go to Norway in May. I'm filming this in April actually, just before Easter, but it may not be out for a few weeks because I'm trying to film ahead a little bit because I'm away in May. Get back to these needles. So I like them. Would I buy them again? Yes, I definitely would. I think they're a good alternative to the twist lace tips if you don't like metal needles. I don't have a problem with metal needles, but some people find them a bit too hard and a bit too cold. These are warmer to the feel and they have a little bit more grip. So if you're knitting with a very slippery yarn, or you don't like your stitches sliding too quickly across your needle tips, then these are a good alternative. I would not, unless you have over £300 to spend, I would not go out and buy the interchangeable needle set. It's a lovely set, and if you want to have it as a special gift or a special treat, go for it. But I think for the amount of money, to me, it's not worth it. I would rather just buy the needle tips I use most, because most of us probably use a relatively small range of needle tips, needle sizes. So I would rather buy the needle tips I use most and some cables to go with them. So a couple of 60cm cables, a couple of 80, maybe 100cm. So I would not go and buy the interchangeable set because I don't think it's value for money. I also wouldn't buy the interchangeable regular Chiaogoo twist lace set now. I would just buy the cables I want and the needle tips I want in the size I use the most. So I think these are very good alternative to the twist lace needle tips from Chiaogoo. If I was going to choose between the Nipro Carbons and the Forte, I would go for the Forte, because they're not that much more and they're much better quality, I think, than the Nipro ones. So if you have been thinking about getting some carbons, go for the Forte instead. Even if you have to order it online, I absolutely recommend using your local yarn shops. If they sell Chiaogoo needle tips, like the regular Chiaogoo needles, the red lace ones or the bamboo ones, then ask them if they can order these in for you. If you tell them what sizes you want, they might be able to order them in for you. You may have to wait till they place the next order if there is a minimum order value. I don't know. But I would say that any retailer that's already stocked Chiaogoo would be able to order these in for you if you ask them. They may not be stocking them because they don't know if there's a demand for them, or they think they're a little bit too pricey, so it's worth asking them if you're interested. But yeah, I do recommend these needles. I really like them. I don't know how many more I will buy of them, but I will definitely get some more, I think. To sum it up, I really like these needle tips. They've been very pleasant to knit with. I decided to try them on this cable project because I'd only knitted a couple of swatches with them, and I knew I wanted to do this review, so I thought I will try them on this cable project. Because when you're knitting cables without a cable needle, you do need quite pointy, smooth, slick needle tips, and I've had no problems with these at all. Really enjoyed knitting with them, so I will definitely get more. Will I get a lot more? I don't know, because they're probably bit too similar to the regular twist lace Chiaogoo needle tips, so I don't really need a lot more of them. I have a lot of needles, but I might pick up a couple other sizes just to have a little bit of choice. So let me know, have you tried the Forte needle tips? Would you buy them if you get a chance? If you have tried them, tell me what you think about them. Do you like them compared to the twist lace needle tips? Have you tried the Nipro carbons? And do you prefer the Forte to the carbons if you've tried both? Or if you've only tried the carbons, let me know what you think of those. And tell me in the comments which ones your favourite needles are. And if you have needles that you really like that I haven't reviewed, ask me in the comments and I might review those. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Ask any questions you have in the comments. Leave me any comments on these that you have. Tell me your favourite needles in the comments as well. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.